Jai Guru. Hari Om. Welcome you all to this program or weekly meditation discussion program. We'll start with a small prayer. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Saravavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May He protect us. May He be pleased with us. May we work together with vigor. May our study make us brilliant. May there be no dislike between us. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Guru is Brahma, Guru is Vishnu, Guru is Lord Shiva, and Guru is indeed Parabrahman. Salutation to that Sri Guru. I bow to my Guruji Paramahamsa Prajnanananda Ji, Gurudev Paramahamsa Hariharananda Baba, and the lineage of all our Kriya masters and all masters of all religions in the world. I bow to you all. For those of you who have not seen me before, my name is Swami Matrukrupananda Ji. Matrukrupananda Ji. I am based in Kriya Vedanta Gurukulam in Joliet, Illinois. I was initiated into Kriya Yoga about 30 years ago, and I had the privilege of spending time with Guruji and Gurudev also. So how are you all handling this epidemic, pandemic, this coronavirus and the fear of death? It's a great obstacle in our daily life. I never seen this in my whole life, this kind of agitation. But is this the only obstacle in your life and your progress? That's why I picked this topic. Guruji, about a couple of years ago, published a nice book called The 8 Obstacles. 8 Obstacles, the story of 8 obstacles. In addition to the fear, there are 7 or 8 other obstacles which will distract you from your main goal of getting liberation. In the Tantra book, Kularnava's Tantra, it says, what are those 8? Lajja, Gruna, Bhayam, Krodham, Jugupsas, Cheti, Panchamam, Kulam, Seelam, Tata, Jati, Astupasa, Prakirtitaha, Paso, Baddho, Pasugnyaya, Pasamukto, Maheshwara. The meaning is, what are these? Shyness, hatred, fear, anger, jealousy, family, nobility, and gender are the 8 nooses or forms of bondage. One who is bound with these 8 is embodied being a jiva, living like an animal. And one who is free from these is Lord Shiva or God himself. Again, what are those? Lajja means shyness. Gruna means hatred or dislike. Bhaya means fear. Krodha means anger. Jugupsa means jealousy or disgust. Kulam means pride of your dynasty or country. Seelam means character or nobility. Jati means the pride of your caste or gender. Astapasu prakasham. These are the 8 obstacles. Let's go through one by one. Lajja, shyness. Every human being is endowed with shyness to some extent. Shyness is a virtue as well as a vice. The feeling of shyness frees us from temptation of doing blemishing activities, thus making us better. On the other hand, fear of expressing our feeling or experience may result in exploitation. In spirituality, shyness is a negative quality. A little modesty is fine, not shyness about speaking truth or pursuing worship or in a spiritual practice. We should never feel shy. A spiritual person is a hero, a warrior. With regard to our moral or spiritual behavior, we should be strong enough to stop or object to any wrongdoing. Under this, there is a nice story written by Guruji in this book, a story of Parasurama and Shiva. One day, I believe Lord Shiva was teaching his students and he wanted to test them. He asked them to do some immoral act or a sin. All are hesitating. Parasurama argued with Shiva and finally grabbed the axe from Shiva and hit him. Shiva was happy instead of being upset. He even gifted him the axe to Parasurama, so to prevent immoral acts in life. You all know how Parasurama later destroyed several evil royal families. When in the company of Master, do not have shyness. Go bow down, sit straight, and ask direct questions. Look at him, look at the teacher in the face. Have no shyness while praying to God. As divine children, we can pray, Ya Devi Sarvabhutesu Lajja Rupena Samstita in Chandi. O Divine Mother, in worldly life there might be something to hide, but give us strength to reveal everything to you. You are in the form of lajja, shyness, modesty. Free us from restlessness and temptation. So the next obstacle is hatred or dislike, grina. Let us examine how we develop likes and dislikes. We often say, I like that food, I do not like that food, I like that person, I do not like that person. Every human life is conditioned by likes and dislikes. When these become strong, the likes become attachments and dislikes develop into hatred. Quite often we hear people say, I hate that person. When I hear his name, my body trembles, I cannot tolerate him. We divide creation into us and them, mine, their, and so on, hatred and dislike. To hate others mean I am superior, pure and good. Others are bad, I am better. Such an attitude leads to disgust, aversion and reproach. Dislike or hatred is a double-edged sword. It affects others as well as oneself. It's like a hidden fire that burns even the one who is sheltering it. In this context, a common question is, when someone abuses you, how can you overcome? How can you overcome it? There he gave the example of a child. You know, you're carrying a child and he's playing, and then he slaps you. Are you angry? No. You say the boy didn't know what he's doing. Similarly, when someone commits a mistake that offends you, try to understand it is due to the ignorance or he is doing unknowingly. Jesus said, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. You may say, if it is out of ignorance, I will forgive him. But what if it is done knowingly? Many times we see, you have to face that. They are done knowingly. There you try to understand it deeply, why someone is doing it. Take the example of a snake. It is its nature, or is it out of fear of its own life? It will bite. It will realize it is not the person's fault, rather it is your own ignorance that allowed you to intentionally hurt you. We can eliminate ignorance from our minds through prayer. Oh God, let there be more understanding. Don't allow ignorance to cloud my mind. Let there be no hatred in my mind. See God in all. See in the tiger, we keep a distance, but we see the beauty of God. Saint Francis' prayer, remember, where there is hatred, let me give love. Prayer and meditation can eliminate hatred and dislike. If you dislike a person, think about that person and pray for him or her. If hatred creeps into your heart, think of Christ and how he forgave all, including those that tortured him. If someone hurts you out of ignorance, forgive them. If someone does so willfully, tactfully stay away from that person. There's no need to get closer. So avoid that person, avoid that situations. The third one is fear, bhaya. This is one we are going through now. Fear is a natural tendency found in all human beings, plants, animals. What is the root cause of fear? How does it enter our lives? How can we overcome this? Where does it come? All weaknesses is born from ignorance. Everything starts from ignorance. Baba in his book said, it stems from our childhood, from our parents. It may be result from our past lives. How often we heard, in talking to children, hey, eat, or the ghost will come and take your food away, in order to make the children eat. Or don't go into that room, there is a ghost there. Examples, we heard those before. Others also instill fear in us like that, so with the examples and incidences. King Bhartrhari, in his Vairagya Shatakam, this is a beautiful book, this is slokas. He wrote a nice verse. Bhoge roga bhayam, kule chuti bhayam, vitte rupad bhayam, mane dainya bhayam, bale rupu bhayam, rupe jaraya bhayam, shastre swada bhayam, gune kala bhayam, kaye kranta sarva vastu bhayanitam bhavitvam vairagyam eva bhaya. Meaning is, you get list of incidents where you get fears. During enjoyment, there is fear of disease. In family reputation, there is fear of losing it. In wealth, there is fear of taxes. In prestige and pride, there is fear of misery. In power, there is fear of enemies or adversaries. In beauty, there is fear of old age. In scriptural erudition, there is fear of learned opponents. In virtue, there is fear of wicked. In body, there is fear of death. For human beings, everything in the world is associated with fear. Vairagya, a dispassion towards worldly enjoyment, alone bestows fearlessness. See now what's happening in the COVID attack? We are all bound with this fear of death. Fear of death is one of the biggest fears for people and families, householders, and to most people. In truth, fear makes us weak. In a jocular way, it's the truth. Baba wrote in this book, if people are all afraid of death, monks are afraid of birth and to be born again. So we are on the other end. We are afraid of death. Now we are not afraid of death, but we are afraid of rebirth. We all want liberation. There he gave us a story of Shitala, the goddess of disease. And once it happened that one Shitala, the goddess of disease and death, she came to a village and she wanted to create disease and death in that village. And then the Grama Devata, the goddess of the town, she came and stopped her. Say, stop. All the people here, they worship me and they're here to protect them. So you cannot do anything here. But the god of disease says, no, Yama, Lord Yama sent me here to create some disease and kill people. So they argued and finally they agreed. He said, okay. The Gramadata said, you can stay for 1 week and maybe you can kill one person. That's all. Okay. then after 1 week, the goddess, they left. But then they said, there were so many people who died. She asked, the Gram Devata asked, how is it? I said, only 1 week and only one person. How did you kill so many? He said, no, I attacked, gave disease to one person only, and he died. And the rest of them died because of fear. They all knew that they may get a disease and they may die, and that's what is happening for most of us nowadays. Any one of us can get that disease and die. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, sloka 27 says, Jitasya hi dhruvo mrityu, that which is born is sure to die. If you are happy, excited about receiving new clothes, friends, or house, etc., in the same way, be happy about receiving a new body. Baba gave a nice quote in this book. We happily welcome sleep. A monk wrote like that. Sleep is a short death. Death is a long sleep. Welcome it. Sleep is for a few hours. Death may be for a few months. And maybe when you get up in a new body. So why worry? So fear is born out of ignorance and can be eliminated in 3 ways. By willpower, by support of a friend or teacher, or by presence of God. The Buddha story, there is a small story again like this. The mother whose child died, and she was very upset and angry, worried, and then she came to Buddha for some consolation. He said, you go into the town and collect a few mustard seeds from any house where there is no death. So you know what happened. So the fourth one is anger. Anger is krodha, anger. Anger is considered as a disease that can cause great harm to health, disturb the happiness of others, and damage human relationships. The seed of anger in chapter 3, sloka 37 in Gita explains that kama means desire gives birth to krodha, anger. When a desire is not fulfilled, the unfulfilled desire causes anger. When desire is fulfilled, we want more. Lobha, greed is the result. Unfulfilled desire gives rise to anger. Fulfilled desire leads to greed. So either way you are at loss. Ordinarily, kama is translated in as sexual urge or passion, but in broad sense, it includes all kinds of desire. Those of you who have studied Gita, of course, chapter 2, slokas 62 and 63 are very powerful slokas and very popular. I will quickly read those. Dhyayate vishayan pumsaha sanghasteshu upajayate sanghat chayate kama kamat krodho vijayate krodhat bhavati sammoha sammohat spriti brahma suti brahmsod buddhinasat vinasyati. Here he gives a nice chain and how we drip from one to another, one leads to another. Thinking of sense objects repeatedly, a person will develop attachment for them. Thinking about them, you get attached to them. From attachment springs desire. From what happens from detachment? Desire comes. From unfulfilled desire comes anger. If desire is not fulfilled, you get angry. From anger arises delusion. Your mind is deluded. From delusion, confusion of memory and loss of reason. Without discrimination, the person goes to complete destruction. So one leads to other. One leads slowly down to the total destruction. Same in Gita 16 chapter, sloka 12 also says that we are tied by hundreds of ropes of desires. Asha pasas satayar buddhi. Those bound with hundreds of ropes, nooses of desire, are people of demonic nature. That leads to your demonic nature. What is the simple rule? Fewer desires, greater is happiness. More desires, less happiness. We tend to blame others for our failures than examining our own mistakes. And there is a subtle difference between this greed and need. Need includes food, clothing, shelter, job, good family, etc. The ultimate end is happiness. The truth is, need is not bad, but greed is. The world is full of people who are greedy in one way or the other. Greed, what is greed? Is unsatiable desire for more than we need in one way or the other, or to take others' possessions. Then the ego. Ego and anger are two sides of the same coin. With a little loss of power, prestige, and possessions, ego experiences anger and wrath. Ego enjoys power, but not the power of others. Where does anger come now? You know there are a lot of bad effects of anger on human health and well-being. The worst is that we damage relationships. Anger is expressed not only with words, but with our faces and behavior. Gain control of your speech, appearance, and conduct. Words uttered cannot be altered or returned. You try to put the toothpaste back into the tube. It is like that. Once you said something, the effect is there. In that book again, Baba gave a simple, nice example of a woman devotee who brought a book. He came to the seminar and then he bought a book on meditation. After going home, she wanted to read it the same night. Her husband switched off the light to want to sleep. She turned it back again, wanted to read. He turned it off. She turned it on again. You know the rest of the story, what happens. There he also mentions you can hiss but not hurt. There he gave the story of a snake and a monk. In a small town, there was a snake bothering all the people in the town, village, biting them. And one day a monk was passing by and then it stopped it. He stopped the snake and then he said he convinced it to be gentle from then on. He behaved nicely after that. Never bite, never share anything. And after a week or so, he came back, and then he saw the snake is lying down and being completely beaten up. So he asked her, what happened? He says, so I didn't scare them, so they were, he said, I didn't tell you not to hiss, make a sound as if you are going to bite them, but don't bite them. So same thing we have to do. You should not hurt people, but maybe maintain your dignity. What we should do when we become angry, Baba suggested, speak less. We analyze our lives, reduce our desires, meditate regularly. If the anger returns, look at the mirror, change your food habits, that also helps. Walk in fresh air or deep breathe. So that's about the anger. Now about jealousy or disgust, jugupsa. The common cause for all negative feelings of censure, reproach, dislike, defamation, blasphemy, and hatred is jealousy. What is jealousy? How does it start? When two or more people are together, comparison or competition arises. Jealousy arises from person's fault-finding nature, and it can originate from any sense object. When we compare with each other, two things might happen. We are either in a superior position, pride or ego develops. If you find you are in a lower state, jealousy begins. The universe is a beautiful creation of God. No two things are alike. Even twins are not exactly the same. It's not like our mass production where everything is the same. In God's creation, everything is different. In practical spiritual life, how can you live in this world of comparison? We must learn to experience the presence of God in all. If God is in everything, comparison is not needed. Accept God's unique creation and the unique position of each one a person in family, society, and world. People are not competitive, they are complementary. Here there is a quick story of Anasuya and Atri. That's most people knew already. But Anasuya was a very pious lady, very chaste, and one day Narada went to heaven and told Lakshmi, I saw this great lady in the earth. She is so pious and she is so chaste and she is so beautiful. She got jealous, Parvati. Then Lakshmi. Then he went to Parvati, did the same thing. Then he went to Saraswati, Brahma's wife. She did the same thing. All the three mothers got angry and jealous. So they went to their husbands and then told them, go and find out what happened. So those three came like monks and then begging to Anasuya's house. And then Anasuya wanted, they offered them, can I offer you something? They said, yes, but there is one condition. You should not have any clothes on when you are feeding us. How can you do that? It's a pious lady, so it's a clash. Her chaste will be gone if she takes away clothes, and her promise of feeding them will be disrupted if it doesn't feed them. So what she did, she prayed to God, and then all the three, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, they all became small babies, and she fed them, and then they stayed there like that only. And then these three mothers, Parvati, Lakshmi, and Saraswati, they were worried. Their husbands didn't come back. So they came down to see, and then they appreciated her chaste and the piousness, and some of the story says that actually by their blessing, Anasuya gave birth to Dattatreya. Well, anyway, jealousy get very bad. The Kula, next one's a Kula, or the dynasty, or the pride of dynasty. Shila means character, and Jati, pride of caste or gender. So these three generally are based on the ego as the problem. In ancient times, family, class, caste, and other social status are significant. Not now anymore. We are born in a particular family, country, all that. We feel proud. What should we do now? The problem is we forget we are all children of God and come from the same. So don't feel great about it. The Shila or character or nobility is sometimes good quality can become a source of difficulty. Just like an ornament can cause trouble when it attracts the eyes of the thieves. A good quality can be a root of ego. Suppose you have some good qualities, don't feel too proud about it. Don't exhibit. Displaying one's goodness is a bondage. So it with ego, I am good, I am honest, I am intelligent, I am bright. The truth is, we may be indeed very good and honest, but constantly recounting it creates ego and slowly leads us to downfall. We should show our goodness, then humility, not through vanity. We should not praise ourselves. If we add one drop of poison to a pot of milk, all the milk is gone. If we have good qualities, people will like and appreciate us. As a result, we develop little ego, pride or vanity and will fall. Baba's advice, in a nice paragraph he wrote, every sincere seeker should carry a sword of knowledge slay doubts, ignorance, delusion, illusion, and error. The heart is the center of ignorance and restlessness. Through practice of Kriya Yoga, the meditator should reach the state of consciousness and wisdom. Real nobility and strength are associated with love, compassion, and kindness. So, follow Guruji's advice. Do meditation regularly. The last one is jati, or pride of caste or gender. You know these castes in India. We had Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Sudras, and Vaishyas, and all that. One path of devotion, on the path of devotion, there neither gender or status matters. In spiritual life, a man and woman have equal opportunity to develop and realize. Let there be no trace of ego. I think I am a man or I am a woman, I can do more, nothing. Everybody is equal. Everything is a divine play. Remember, the world is a place of temporary stay. When seekers confess to God about their weakness and imperfections and cultivate inner strength, they will rise above human imperfections with grace of divine. So we're running out of time, so we'll quickly conclude. Again, these 8 obstacles are shyness, hatred, fear, anger, jealousy, character, and pride of caste or gender, whether male or woman. One who is bound with these 8 nooses is an embodied being or a jiva, living like an animal, and one who is free from these is Lord Shiva, or is God himself. Go beyond caste, creed, family, lineage, name and form, merit and demerit. Transcend time and space and sense objects. Meditate in your mind, O Brahman, Tattvamasi, I am that. Constantly meditate, meditate, meditate. Thou art that. So we are out of time. It's a beautiful book. I would encourage all of you. I would probably not able to completely convey what Guruji wanted to say in that book. I would encourage you to read that book, The 8 Obstacles. We'll do a short meditation. Sit comfortably, sit erect. Keep your spine straight. Your chin slightly down. Watch your breath. Get the mind, which is roaming around, back into your focus, into the fontanelle, into the top of the head. Calmly watch your breath. Keeping the spine straight, whether sitting on the floor or in a chair, it gives you extra power to focus, concentrate. When you are observing the breath, it automatically slows down. You're not making any effort, it automatically slows down. Now take a deep breath. Hold. Bend forward as much as you can comfortably. Exhale. Normal breathing. Bowing like this, it stretches your spine. It has a lot of advantages. Keep your head down. Breathe normally. Again, bring your attention to the fontanelle, the top of the head. Slowly sit up. Exhale. Normal breathing. We'll do a few rounds of controlled breathing. You are consciously breathing. Your attention is on breath. You may be breathing, you are breathing actually from the nose to the lungs and back. But at the same time, you can visualize your life force or pranic energy going from the base to the top of the head and through the spine. Let's do a few rounds of conscious breathing. Don't struggle. Do as comfortably as you can. Do as long as you can. And take a deep breath. Hold. Exhale. Again, take a deep breath. Hold. Exhale. Again, deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. You do 3-4 rounds of this controlled breathing. You are consciously watching the breath and you are doing it with your own control. Full inhalation, hold, exhalation, hold, inhalation, hold, Excellent. Do like 2-3 times at your own pace. Don't struggle. Your mind is on your breath. Your thought is focused on the breath. You are able to do a long inhalation and long exhalation. Stone at your control, at your pace. Do a few rounds of doing the same breathing, but at its not under your control, but you be a silent witness. You be an observer. Do not control the breath. Do not do anything. You just watch. The breath is going in, going out, going in, going out. Maybe a little faster than when you are doing it controlled, but it is going at its own pace. All the time is going on. It is going on since the day one, when you are born. It will go on till the end. Now be a silent witness. Observe the breath for a minute or two. Just observe. Take your mind off from everything else and only you're focusing on breath. You're not controlling it, you are watching it. You're a witness. Now again, take a deep breath, hold, bend forward, exhale. Normal breathing. Pray to God. Pray for calmness in mind. Pray for fear of all the anxieties and worries. Pray for yourself and everybody else around you. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Let everybody in the whole universe be happy and peaceful. When you finished with the prayer, slowly sit up. We'll conclude with a small prayer. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru.